Hello, beautifuls. Welcome to Intuitive Conversations with Kristine Keeland and Renee Kane. I'm Kristine.
I'm Renee. As best friends and intuitives, we have fantastic conversations in all things spiritual. We have been inspired to share these conversations with you.
Hey, Renee.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Another conscious conversation.
Yeah.
And, it's been so interesting lately. The influx of energies and influx of information coming in and how the body's responding. I know we've talked about a little bit, you get tired, then you get motivated, then, we've both been told to kind of stay in bed and listen.
That's probably been the most bizarre thing that's been going on
Yeah.
lately. It's like, what do you mean don't get up?
Yeah.
Just stay in bed.
Yeah. And so there's this gigantic offering to allow our bodies to release old patterns, old belief systems, old programming, old ancient, whether it's family systems or cultural systems or, the collective belief that we're limited, that we're small, that we're not worthy, that we're not these magnificent, wonderful, creative beings that we know we are.
Mm-hmm.
That's, being like purged out of the body. And for us, it's different for everybody.
It is. It looks different.
Yeah.
It looks different for me from time to time.
Yeah.
So it's different for all of us.
And it's not new. It's been the last couple of years, but this last year has been very intense. Last couple months. And we were talking about, the chaotic energy.
Yeah.
That's part of it, where we're creating this space within our bodies to let more of this expanded consciousness, expanded vibration come in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's even as deep in for me, as I mentioned to you, I believe earlier, that I have felt for a few months actually, just kind of, I'm going to use the term draggy. I just like unmotivated, not able to really fully be who I've been for most of a life that I'm aware of. I'm pretty move, get it done. And I've been more like, I'm very type A. And that has not been probably all of 2023 when I actually think about it. I just have been, I've been allowing things to just process. And the other day I was like, I got up and I was back in my old, okay, I can do this, I can get this done, and I can accomplish that. And it feels good. It's familiar. The other wasn't familiar.
No.
I don't think it's a step back. I just think I've integrated finally a piece.
Yeah, and it's nice to have that physical drive, right? Because we have physical lives, we have things we need to get done. I've been in the same space where I've had to really clear my lifestyle out a little bit. I've had to move pieces around and make sure I have space for this integration piece and really allowing myself to be really important.
Yeah.
Really, really important. The way I view, not the way I view myself, but I've had to create space to allow the nothingness to be present.
Yes.
That to me, it feels like I'm not doing much. It's the productive part. I'm doing a lot. Like I recognize energetically, consciously, I recognize that part, but the productivity part is so different. And I feel very fortunate to have a lifestyle where I don't have to clock in at 9 o'clock and leave or make sure there's a spreadsheet done or whatever. That's not the case for many of our listeners. Many people have that.
Yes.
And so you may be having those days where you feel like you're really off center, you can't get things done. I want to let you know it's pretty normal right now.
It is very normal right now. It's normal to be experiencing that. And I think some of the other pieces that I've noticed with the energy shifts that have been happening, the other morning woke up and I just heard, you need to stay in bed. And I was like, stay in bed? Okay. So I listened, and it wasn't to go to sleep. It was that my physical body needed to be rested to move forward with whatever work I was doing in the cosmic field.
Yeah.
And so it just was whatever I was moving at that time. And I think it was a big component of codes for the new world, but whatever I was doing, it was like the physical body needed to be in a rest state, not asleep, but
Stay
in a
conscious,
meditative
right?
state
Yeah.
in order to help move that forward. It's just, it sounds so bizarre, but, and it was bizarre. It's not the
Not
normal
your
for
normal.
me. But that's, I would encourage people to just listen. If you're encouraged to sit in a chair, to stop, to sleep, or
Yeah.
to stay wakeful.
And it may be a lot of sleeping. People
It
have,
could
you know,
be.
if it's not your normal to take a nap or to rest. And really, I'm hearing again, why is it not our normal to rest when you need it? You'll have you're like we're energy fields. There's octaves and frequencies, and there will be days where, you know, your energy, what we perceive is really high, but there's days where it's rest days. There's, you know, and now they're showing me, like, even in the Bible it said there's a rest day in there. It's not maybe exactly how it's defined in the Bible, but there are times you need for integration. There's time you need for expansion, time you need for expression. And like Renee, I had the same thing this morning. I thought, you know, I got up at 6. I thought, well, I'm gonna get going, and then I heard, just, you know, take 30 minutes. I took 30 minutes, and it ended up being 2 hours and 15 minutes.
I think that you used the word that's key in all of this. We are integrating whole new energies into our field, our individual fields. We're integrating whole new energies. And for some of us, that could maybe happen like this. And for others, it may take a day, it may take hours, it may take a week, it may take whatever.
It may take all year.
It could.
Yeah.
So there's that integration piece. And it isn't like any one person is ahead of another or behind.
No.
We are all working at our own best pace.
I know there's times I felt like I'm behind or I'm not doing enough, and it's because of that the non-productive physical part.
And that's
Feels
the
like
programming,
Yeah.
because we felt like we have to show up in a certain way.
I have to have something at
You
the end
know,
of the
this
day
is
to
what
show.
I did, my
Yeah.
check off list.
Yeah.
So that, I get that totally, because that is an old programming piece that we're dropping and saying no more, or we're transforming it, is probably a better way to say it.
And I like that you mentioned the energy fields, because, you know, we carry, you know, we've always in the past said we have different energetic bodies. We have a mental body, an emotional body, and a
Physical
body, and, you know, there's 7 layers.
Yeah, there's a whole
7
bunch.
etheric layers, which I never remember what all 7 are. Really, it's one body. It's one energy field. I'm an energy field. You're an energy field. We're all within this bigger energy field, but that energy field is changing, you know, color and sound and octaves that we're able to access. I think it's what we're able to now be part of is what's changing.
To bring it into ours. To integrate into
integrate
us.
it,
Yes.
yeah.
To recognize it.
And to keep the physical body.
Yes. Yes.
We're
And I
keeping
think
this body.
this time around, as I understand it, at least from what my knowledge says, we are choosing to keep our body.
Yeah.
We aren't choosing to say, okay, I'm going to just, you know, move into a new field. I'm going to go away and I'm going to be reborn again, and I'm going to try this
Kind
again.
of figure out what I
and I'm
didn't
gonna
understand this time, or bring
rewrite my
something new.
blueprint, you know, and I'm going to do it over and I'm going to do it better. I think this time we are like, no, we are going to make this everything we dreamed it would be. And some of that then calls for that integration of new vibrations, new frequencies, new understandings, new awareness, that you don't have to be doing something all the time.
And you have to have that create, you know, it's really that space of creation. It reminds me of like the Big Bang, and I have no idea what happened before the Big Bang, but it feels like there was a settling maybe, or a stillness maybe before a new creative spark.
Sure.
Like a stillness or something. That could be what we're going through now, and we want to talk about the chaos, things that'll be coming. And I just heard a new word today too. Renee already had heard of it, and I'm forgetting what it actually is.
Neutrinos.
Neutrinos, thank you. So I was going to look at my paper on the floor. But the neutrinos, you know, you can explain it too, but it's we have millions and millions of them in our body.
They're everywhere, yeah.
And they're what create new universes. So explain what you know about them. Because I had to look it up. I had no clue what it was.
Well, what I was saying to Chris earlier is that I actually activate the neutrinos within my body to do specific things. So I had a sore knee for a while. So I was asking the neutrinos, I was activating, not asking, I was activating the neutrinos. So it would look like this as I'm going to sleep. I activate the neutrinos within my body to work on the function of my left knee, to free it from whatever it is holding and to release that.
Oh, wonderful.
So simply like that. So in your own words, you can create, I'm activating the neutrinos to work on my eyes. I want to see clearer.
Perfect. And when I was learning this morning, there's small particles, minuscule, like 1,000 times smaller than an atom or a nucleus.
Yes.
And they didn't think it held mass. Now they understand that it holds mass. It can go through anything.
Yes.
We're getting these big solar influxes of solar neutrinos, which is coming from the sun, which is actually light particles, but somehow it's a little different than light particles. So find a physicist and talk to them. Or YouTube or
I'm
whatever.
not your girl.
But I can understand the consciousness and the frequency part. But it's allowing the laser beam ray or whatever this different frequency coming in with the neutrinos that it electrifies our body. It puts it in a whole new state of being. This sounds really weird, but it sounds like, they're showing me one in the Frankenstein movie when he gets charged with electrical current and he becomes reanimated. It's like we are reanimating ourselves in this physical body.
True.
I can see it. We're reanimating back to our source, our origin, like our God self is being reanimated through these particles from, these extreme, loving, like gigantic creative forces. Like I can't find the right words, but I get the picture they're showing me about the Frankenstein. We're being reanimated.
Yes,
we're being reanimated in the physical form. So we can be more. Like we can be more of our genuine self, God self, source self, right? Or however you want to determine it. But it's like our spark.
And so what is so cool about how you said that and what that's actually bringing to us, it's like, think about society in general, how in the last, I'm going to say 10 years, maybe 15, 12, something like that, in that realm, how important we have as a society decided it is to be outside.
Yeah.
There's way more biking, camping, hiking than there has been in the general population for a long time.
Yeah, campgrounds are full.
It's just like it's always been there and people have always done those things. But it's like this much greater influx. It's like on some level we have known we want to be in the sunshine, accept the neutrinos that are coming into our system and spark with them and move with them. And we haven't necessarily understood the why or the how of it. And it's like, we've been encouraged. You didn't hear about vitamin D.
Oh gosh, no.
15 years ago, you didn't hear about it. Now it's like vitamin D. That's your sun source. That's your whatever.
And I'm not saying you have to. Eyes and it comes to your skin.
I'm not saying you have to take vitamin D. Yeah. I'm just saying it gets fed to us in bits and pieces, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is what it is. This is how this works.
And then on the flip side, because I always show the flip side is, look what we've been kind of the opposite. Stay inside with video games. Stay inside with TV. Stay inside
Keep the
with
kids inside.
With illnesses. Keep inside, like when we were kids, we were outside all the time.
All day,
our parents
every day.
were outside, unless they were in an office working or factory, whatever they did. But the parent that was home, we were outside with their kids, and we were outside all the time. Now it's been this push to not be outside. So that's where we get to say, no, I know.
Yeah.
I know this is best for me. And somebody's even sent me something yesterday about they're now building underground cities.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Not like for nefarious reasons, but they're building skyscrapers underground so that you never need to leave outside and have the sun touch you. That parks, so... Yeah, instead of having skyscrapers 40 stories up, they're going down because there's people that are afraid of being outside. So that's the exact opposite, right? And that's not going to ever say that's a wrong experience.
No.
But it may not be the best. It's certainly not where we're going. We're going to be more
expansive. Not where I'm going.
Not where I'm going. Yeah, not where I'm going. But these beautiful, what are they called?
Neutrinos.
Neutrinos, yes, thank you. I want to say neutrons, but I knew that
I
was
was just like,
neutrinos, neutrinos, yeah. So and that we have this beautiful world that we've been, I don't want to say allowed to be in. We've volunteered to be here.
We did.
And we have this beautiful system set up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's my exciting news today. The neutrinos, the solar neutrinos are coming in. In the next 6 days, they're going to be pretty
strong.
Pretty strong. And this is
Pretty strong.
August 2023. So
Mhm.
yeah, which helps us get to that next octave.
It does.
Yeah.
And again, I really want to encourage our listeners to listen to yourself. You can listen to us. We want you to listen to us, but you really are the self-actualized individual. You are the wisdom keeper of yourself. So I really want you to be aware and listen. Be in the quiet. Sometimes the radio does not have to play 24/7. Be in the quiet. Listen to yourself. Bring your own wisdom in.
Mm-hmm. That stillness is so important.
It's really important. And it's going to show you the things and the pieces that are going to propel you forward to where it is that you choose, because you do still have free will. Mm-hmm. You choose to move forward to. And when I say move forward, I'm not saying forward's better than backward. That's just the term I'm using, as in moving into your next step. Mm-hmm. It's propelling you in a momentum that takes you closer to where you desire to be.
And it may be a skill you need to build up. I know sometimes if I try to say I'm going to sit down for 20 minutes, 10 minutes seems like, okay, I've been here long enough. Or
one night, some days.
No, so maybe, that's why the shower is always a good place, because you weren't really doing too much, although your mental mind could be going. So don't judge yourself as doing it right or wrong. It's something you're going to be building into. Maybe, you sit down for a while and have the stillness, or maybe I'm going to, Renee was saying she colored.
I did, yes.
That's great. Or maybe do dishes, make something, like you're getting yourself out of that. That's still productive doing dishes, but it's just kind of shifting yourself back.
And when your monkey mind is just wrapped up around trying to understand something or look at something new or whatever, find a way that resonates with you to stop this so you can settle in to what it is that's coming in. And that's what I think happened with me with the coloring piece. I needed to be focused on something, and my monkey mind was going, way over here somewhere. And I found that when I just took some colored pencils and one of those coloring book thingies somebody gave me, and I just started coloring in it, my creative force was still moving, because I was still choosing how I wanted to color what I was coloring. Yet my monkey mind was gone, and I could actually focus on what I was working with. But that monkey mind was kept busy in a creative mode.
And so it didn't interfere.
It didn't interfere. So that worked for me.
That.
But, like you said, dishes might work for somebody else. Baking cookies might work for somebody. Yeah. It's finding that piece that works for you so you can actually get to where your heart desires to go.
And you may not recognize what it is you're kind of doing behind the scenes, and that's okay too. You may have some great inspiration, you may know exactly, but it's really so subtle sometimes, and or it could be a lot going on that you may not recognize exactly what it is, but you do need not the mind involved, because it's all coming through the heart.
Yeah.
And you really don't really hear or see or sense your heart, you just know it's there. You trust it's working. So it's that same kind of thing to just be.
And it's the shift that we talked about a while ago. We really are moving into completely operating from our heart, which is different than where we operated from for most of my life.
Most of
humanity for a long time is the gut. Yeah. We went with our gut instinct. Oh, it looks kind of dark in that corner. Maybe we shouldn't walk down that street. Let's walk down this street with the lights. Because our gut was just like, there might be some fear over there. But we're dropping that way of operating out of fear and moving into operating out of love.
Because we're getting out of that survival mode.
We're moving into acceptance, responsibility.
We have all we need. We know. Yeah.
Yeah. So. And away from all of that gut stuff. And I'm not going to say there's if you're still operating out of your gut, it's great.
It's a system that works.
It's working for you.
Yeah.
We are looking, though, to move more into being heart-centered, pure love
And you'll know that
beings.
because you'll feel it in different ways. Just maybe
It's
you're starting
totally
to feel all
different.
your emotions, or
It's
you know,
totally
just
different.
sometimes you get those I get those bursts of like where just love is so strong. I kind of get all teary eyed and everything. And I love that you said responsibility. I want to touch on that because it
Sure.
really is important that we're responsible for what we're allowing in our
Mhm,
lives, what we're
mhm,
projecting out, what
mhm.
we're offering others, how we receive things. And I am responsible to making sure that I have the downtime in my day, as you're doing.
Mhm.
That's how that happened. When my life wasn't working the way I wanted, I'm responsible to make sure I say something or do something. The other day, had a conversation with a friend too, and they were saying I know I should have said something 20 years ago and I didn't. I said that's so interesting because just like 10 minutes ago, I thought I was going to say something to my husband. I thought, oh, he's really working hard at something. You don't want to interfere with it. You don't want to burst his bubble. I thought, but if I don't say it now,
It's
then
gone.
it's gone. But it's also like when I'm going to say it now, 6 years later,
Yeah.
or 10 years later, it's like
Yeah.
it's okay if you burst his bubble. That's not the intention. But then you can have a more deeper conversation. And I don't remember what the concept was,
Mhm.
but really, if it's important for you to say something that might be valuable information. Want to get to decide, is this valuable information or is this just something that's bothered me or whatever? Like you have to really maybe dissect it a little bit and then decide. But if it's something that needs to be said, say it. Don't wait.
And
Say it in the most loving way.
that is the piece. Sometimes we don't think something we're going to say is in a loving way. So it's about finding your words
And that's your
that are
responsibility.
saying, as an example, I don't know, say somebody did, your husband, whatever, did something that upset you and you want to deal with it. Understand what your responsibility in what happened is. So that when you approach the person, you can say, I need to talk to you because this really upset me, yada, yada, whatever that was about. However, I understand that my role in this was that I wasn't clear with what I was asking you to do, and you went from where you were, from your perception. So we all have different perceptions, but that's being responsible. That's being loving in saying, I need to talk to you about this now because right now is when it happened and I'm feeling it and I can talk to you about it.
And I'm not afraid that we can't have this conversation.
Right. I'm not afraid of your reaction, and I'm not. Yeah, but I do have responsibility in it. Somewhere along the line, you always have some responsibility in what happens.
Yeah.
And by owning that and stepping up to it, the other person is like, oh, at least my experience has been, oh yeah, I guess I'll own my part of that. I didn't listen, did I? No, so then you can have a discussion. But like you said, if it comes up 6 years later, and I know at least with my spouse, if it comes up 6 years later, you say, well, like that time you did, it's like, huh? Yeah. What are you talking about?
Right.
Because they don't even have any recollection of, because it didn't have any effect on them, where it did have an effect on you. So if you don't honor it in the moment, you might as well never bring it up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I think we have to be very clear.
Be responsible to say what you need, what you want. Yeah. And how. And how you need it and how you want it.
Yep. And then be responsible how you react to the outer world too. Because there's going to be a lot, there's a potential for a lot of unrest or some chaos. Chaos creates a new environment. It creates a new energetic field. It creates a new way of, maybe there's a chaotic, maybe your work life's really chaotic. Well, it can create change. Maybe you leave, maybe you change the way you process, but we're going to be seeing a lot of that, I think. And so it's like coming back to self. What's mine to do? I'm already aware of this. Is that really where I need to put my attention? And it's going to be a lot of distractions. Maybe some things you're not aware of that will come up and like, oh, that's interesting, or that kind of blows my mind away, or I'm not even, like me today with the what's it called again?
Neutrinos.
Don't know why I can't remember that word, but the neutrinos, like, it's something new. Yeah.
Well, and I keep hearing it's really about embracing the chaos. And I know that sounds like a really goofy.
Why would I
want to embrace the chaos? But in embracing the chaos, we actually can look at it as to what it's bringing forth for us.
Yeah, it's exciting.
And instead of going, oh, that's chaos, I'm going this way. if we embrace it, we can look at it and say, as an example, if all the power grid shut off and none of us had any power, that would be very, very chaotic.
Yeah.
In that, we could embrace the fact that, oh,
good example.
Now we, as a family or as a unit, we get to decide or figure out how are we going to get our water?
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to cook our food? It becomes a team effort to create something. And instead of being in the oh, why?
Yeah.
Don't go there.
And you could turn against each other.
You could say, well, you're on your own.
All these possibilities are come together. It's like, okay, that's where the silent and the pause comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is a creative moment.
Yeah. That's where the neighborhood turns on one person's grill and you grill everything up and then you shut it off quick so that you can all cook it together. I mean,
and how do we create common unity? I love that you said, how do we create this common unity through chaos?
Embracing a situation, even though it may look very bleak, and we are going to see some bleak moments here coming up, people. It's just what's going to happen. So instead of running from it or crying about it or worrying about it, embrace whatever it is with your full, beautiful wisdom and figure out what you're going to build your life around and how you want it to look.
And go into that place of your own beautiful wisdom and your own knowing. Mm-hmm. And if you're hearing this, maybe it's the 10th time you're hearing it or made something new, but you're getting some information. Okay, there's some shifts and changes coming in humanity. Mm-hmm. Maybe I can be, a place of calm, a place of serenity. Yeah. Maybe I can be, everybody will have different roles, but maybe I'll be a person that I know what to do if the water gets turned off. I know what to do if, I lose my job. I know what it's not that you go into massive planning ahead of time. It's really like, I need, in this moment, what's my best, how I do it. But we're being called to be that place of calm, that not even place of reason, just that place of, you know what, this is okay. This change we've been asking for a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. We don't like the restrictions we've been living under. We don't like playing small. I want to embrace my whole being, whatever that may be. Yeah. I kind of want to sing my song, and I want to.
And it's like finding the peace within the chaos. Yeah. It's there. It's there. So where are you going to choose to go? Are you going to choose to move towards that peaceful, centered self, or go deeper into the chaos of it? And again, I'm going to go back to, we all have free will. Mm-hmm. We have free will to choose. And so you can choose one way or the other. It's your life. It's your experience. Mm-hmm. You get to choose for yourself. I just want everyone to be aware that there are options. Even when you don't think there's a choice, there is.
Choice. Yeah.
You always have choice.
And
always.
I know something that has worked for me in the past, and I'm, I do my best to activate it every day. It's something I call an audit or a spirit audit or daily audit. I just take a moment at the end of my day, not for recrimination. Oh my gosh, I did this wrong. I didn't get that right. It's just like, hey, what was my day like? Were there any patterns coming up? Were there anything like, that kind of like, I went back into something I don't really want to keep recreating. It's just a very short awareness. It's not about. It's just a very short.
It's not judging yourself.
It's just really short.
At it.
This is what your day was like. Somebody, ran on my toy, I didn't really like it, and I punched him in the nose.
Yeah.
Don't want to do that, maybe I do, but it's just that very subtle, how do I react to my own life? It's my life. I have a lot of people in my life, but I get to, it's my responsibility what I do with my life. Mm-hmm. Yes. So that may be helpful.
Yes, that is helpful.
It doesn't have to be a long process. It's just what was the day like? This is a good day, bad day. How come it wasn't my best day? How come, it's really just a check-in. I call it an audit, but it's a check-in.
Yeah, and I think you can do that even simply with different mantras and stuff in your life as you start or end your day. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, if you've listened, I have grandchildren that I see once a week. And that was another big shift in my life. So this year I went down from 2 days to 1 day. But when they come, one of the first things we do is we walk outside. We go, hello, world. Welcome. We're so happy to see you. And we say our names. We get to say, we all pick different things. Like, I am happy. I'm creative. I am wise. I am like whatever. We set the tone for our day by claiming who we are. We start with our names, and we start with how we want the day and how we always welcome the world. we welcome the trees and the birds. Like we let the kids lead it a little bit, but I've been doing that for 4 years, and I'll keep doing that with each time a kid with me, you know. So, but it's a good thing for me to do.
And I was going to say, and it is something that you don't need to do just with children.
Yeah,
it's somewhat attitude when you wake up in the morning and you go, oh, it's another day, or it's Monday, or it's whatever. Dropping that is what I want to say. Dropping that attitude and moving into, hello, world. Yeah. It's another day. It's a new beginning. Everything looks new. I'm a new being. Yeah. I'm moving forward, and I'm going to put my feet on the ground, and
I'm happy to be here.
I'm grateful, and thank you, universe, for supporting me, or whoever you want to thank. You know, I mean, it's so much about what sets the tone for your day, and what sets the tone as you drop into slumber at night. Are you regretting? Are you in a, monkey mind mode? Where are you at? Or are you in a I don't want to use the word gratitude. Are you appreciating each and every moment of your day that happened? Whether they were what you would call an upbeat moment or a downbeat moment. Yeah. Are you appreciating everything that came from what you experienced?
There's wisdom in every experience, and there's evolution.
It's more than gratitude. It's not deeper. Gratitude. It's not just thank you for my day. It's appreciating. I'm appreciating.
It's using all of us to really like all your senses, all your six senses. Your being. It's like feeling the fabric on your shirt or whatever. It's like I'm really integrating again.
Yes. Yes.
Again.
Yes.
Investigating. Yeah.
So it's again, you get to decide how you're going to run your day or your night or whatever. And it's so exciting when you can just jump into all of that and drop all these drudgery things that were from the past. Right. Just nope, I'm not doing it that way anymore. I just simply am not.
Another thing I think is really cool to be aware of is the different frequencies we go in and out of during the day, the different vibrations. So, and there's going to be some, possibly, like we were talking about earlier, these big influxes coming in of the neutronics, right? Did I get that word right?
Neutrons.
Okay, kind of.
Neutrons.
Neutrons. I got close. Yeah.
There are neutrons, but it's like I'm getting neutrinos.
Neutrinos coming in.
I'm getting mixed up.
Neutrinos coming in. That's a different frequency.
It is.
And you can listen to your day and say, well, this frequency, when I'm, if I'm feeling a little blue about myself, that's a different frequency than I'm in stillness and I'm in quiet. There's a different frequency when I'm all excited and running like there's, you'll go through different frequencies during the day, but you're going to start to, if you choose to, you start to recognize and teach yourself how to listen to different frequencies in the environment around you that I get to choose which one am I playing in, right? And the more you know your frequency, know your body, it's like your song, then it's easier to understand how you're being influenced by outside frequencies.
And it's important also, you touched a little bit on color there. And it's really important to understand that because a certain color speaks to you in one way, does not mean that that same exact color speaks to someone else in the same exact way. Where a blue color might just make you just soar to the heavens for one person. Another person, it could be just I'm going to just sit here and be calm in my little blue state.
Yeah.
So one isn't right, one isn't wrong. No. It's being very aware of what something means for you. And when you see a beautiful pink balloon in the air, it might set your heart just going, boom, 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 and the next person might say, oh, there's a pink balloon. So we all have different colors, and there's more colors coming into this being.
Way beyond the
and I'm sure
colors.
Some of you have seen them. Yeah. It's just some of them, there's
no names for them. There's no names. They sound different. They look different.
No, they do.
Some are just starting to get color in the ray. Ray's not quite the right word. But and as Renee was saying, years ago you could say orange meant this. It was a spiritual orange. If you saw a toad, it meant this. But that's when we're in a limited state of being.
Exactly.
When there weren't a lot of potentials. Whereas it was in our kind of our awakening. to what things could, the possibilities things
Mhm.
are, we need kind
Mhm.
of a narrower field.
Mhm.
Well, we get to decide.
And I know
Yeah.
where I really became clear of that was when I was in healing touch classes, and we were given the image to focus on a body,
Mhm.
and then what color lights up in the body.
Yeah.
Well, I know what certain colors mean in certain bodies for me,
Mhm.
but that isn't what it means necessarily for everyone. You know,
Perfect.
some people it's if red lights up, that's something to look at, or
Yeah.
some people it's yellow, some people it's blue. So it's really cool because we don't all have to be cookie cutter people, and it doesn't have to be the same. We are individuals.
I love it. Yeah, like I might
In
hear,
a collective.
you know, blue typically for me means somebody's working on communication.
Mm.
But if I'm looking at that person, if I'm listening, which I try my best to listen to that person, they'll tell me what blue means to their energy field.
Yeah.
So it's not a blanket statement.
No.
There may be, in this kind of container, all the different varieties of blue, but really it's what that spirit wants, that soul wants you to know.
Yeah, that's very true.
And what do I want to know about me? So, yeah. We're limitless.
We are limitless. Yeah. We have so much to share.
I don't think we even have an idea when I say that, what that actually means. It's more of a concept for me.
It's just, we are really in an open-ended time. And I'm not even sure that there's time anymore. We're in an open-ended opportunity to just exist. To exist on a plane that we've not been on.
Yeah. And not exist through survival.
Not in that way.
Is there no food? Is there not? Is somebody treating me well? Am I treating others well? And I think the next couple of years have the potential for being a little erratic. A lot of things coming in, wonderful things, coming into our physical bodies, coming into the world, creative solutions to things maybe that have been problems for a long time. But there may be some rumbles as we get there.
There will be.
But I really think in the next 10, 20 years for sure, I think the next 10 years, we're not going to recognize in a good way.
Yeah. And I think one of the big changes that I've seen is that as a whole, society-wise, people are becoming more aware of our similarities than our differences.
Yeah.
And that's
a choice.
That's
such a major choice,
yes.
Right?
And that's a place I've been wanting to go for 20 some years. It's like, quit focusing on all those things that aren't the same, but focus on that desire to be who you are. We all have that.
Yeah.
And if we allow each other to be who we are without judgment, which isn't always easy for me, but it's just and
appreciate what the other person's
where they're
experiencing, what they're offering you. You don't have to
Yes.
accept everything.
And you don't have to do it like them.
Yeah, no.
But you can allow them their space.
Yeah.
So we're going to be
and our space is
so much.
Yeah. And it's recognizing, I see you as the beautiful being you are. I see me as the beautiful being I am. We may have different experiences, and maybe they don't need to cross.
They might not.
Right? But you're not a deficit or wrong, and I'm not angry that you're living life differently than me, or we have different experience, because we all want to evolve. We all want love in our life. We all want, all these different things.
Yeah.
And sometimes it comes in, it'll come in many different ways. But yeah, I agree. Quit looking at the division amongst others.
Yep.
Because that is really such a minuscule aspect of humanity.
Yeah.
Division. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, here we go.
Wrap that one up, right?
I think that's great.
But I think just like look at the energies, the frequency. Know that we're changing, we're evolving. The world around us are, and maybe a little unsettling. But when we look out, when I look out, it looks. I get that feeling of this is. I can feel or see the best of us coming.
Yes. And
when I don't have a full understanding what the best is necessarily, because it's like the tip of the iceberg. But we have to allow, you have to allow the chaos and unrest to be part of it.
And then we have to allow it.
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily have to play in it.
No.
We can allow it to be.
Yeah. And I think we're done experimenting. They're showing me, making different chocolate cakes. You're trying to find a new recipe. First couple times you don't get it right.
Right.
Then you find the absolute best one, and this is the gold ribbon one. Like, we're done experimenting with what's not right. We're going to get the best chocolate cake really quick.
Ever. Ever.
And I'm taking my big piece, so please take yours.
She's going to take mine too,
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure.
probably will. Yeah. 2 forks. We'll bring multiple forks to the party, okay? Yeah. So
I love it.
Yeah, create your best life.
Do that.
Yeah.
We love you.
Love you.
We are forever grateful to you, our listener. You inspire us to continue listening with our hearts.
To share what we know and to expand love, peace, and joy within ourselves and others. Until next time, this is Kristine Keeland
and Renee Keene. Be love, give love, and receive love.